Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another video. It's another crazy prices video. You know, I really should do these every week because it seems like every week there are more and more crazy prices out there when it comes to comic book collecting. Last week I went over, if you didn't see it, I went over X-Men #1. I went over Giant Size X-Men 1. I talked about the card craze with all those old 90s Marvel cards and the Deadpool card for X-Force 1 and all of that. But it's just been crazy how things have been going up in value as of late. And I'm sure that there are a lot of different reasons why this has been happening. So I'm not going to speculate too much on that. But what I'd like to do is just go over a couple more books that I think are really going for a lot, maybe setting some records. So I have a couple here. I have some, and there are some that I don't have, but I'll still show on the screen what these books are and what they sold for, each and every one of them, whether I have it or not. The first one I want to talk about is this one right here. Amazing Spider-Man 238. This is the one with the tattoos. Now, I don't know if there's a big difference in price between the one with the tattoos and one without the tattoos. I would assume that the one with the tattoos goes for more, and I would also assume the one with the barcode goes for more. I don't have the one with the barcode because everyone's going crazy for barcodes now. It seems like everyone would rather have that instead of, what is that, the direct, they call that the direct edition, where they would show the Marvel character face. Whatever, you know, because there's argument that, well, the other ones, they're harder to find in high grade. Okay, fine, whatever. Regardless, that book, as I'll show you right now, recently went for over $1,100 and a 9.6, okay? Not even a 9.8. Now, I don't know how much a 9.8's been going for or what it's going for. By the time, again, by the time you watch one of these videos, if you watch it a couple months after this is filming in the beginning of March, if you watch this a few months later, March 2021, if you watch this maybe the summer of 2021 or the fall of 2022, the prices could be radically different, you know, on the higher end or on the low end, whatever it is. But for right now, this period in time, these are the prices, and I'm just, you know, I think you could get like a 9.6 Amazing Spider-Man 238 maybe a year ago for, I would say, definitely less than half of what the 9.6 is going for now. So it's just another book that's exploding. I think a lot of people, you know, people are speculating on a lot of different books, and I think that's definitely one of them. Now, the next book I want to talk about is one that I don't have in my collection. It is West Coast Avengers number 45. First appearance of the White Vision. Sounds kind of funny. I think those that have been watching Wandavision are now... I'm filming this video before the last episode of Wandavision, so I don't know what's going to happen in the last episode. Maybe that will affect this book's value. Maybe it will not. But as you can see from the picture I showed, a recent sale, a 9.8, went for close to $1,500. I mean, that really is insane. I mean, I don't want to make fun, you know, of people that buy these books or are selling these books. I mean, I'm just looking at it in a way like, wow, I never would have thought that book would sell in that grade for that much. Maybe some of you out there don't think a 9.8 in that book is that much for $1,500. I don't know. Just for me, it does seem a little much. But if that's what it's going for, and people want to buy it so that they could have the White Vision in their collection, don't tell Coke, then great. You know, that's what they want in their collection. That's fine. But it's just an observation. That seems to be something that I think after last week's episode, everybody was trying to stock up on it again. And I think a few years ago, some people were stocking up on this. I think after, what was it? 2018, after the death of Vision in the movie, I think people thought that in a future movie, probably in Endgame, that he was going to come back as the White Vision. And that didn't happen. Well, spoiler alert, he came back as the White Vision in WandaVision. So, at least for that one episode. Like I said, I don't know what happens in the last episode. So, like I said, this is filming before that episode. So it'd be interesting to see. Now, the next one I want to talk about is another book I don't have and probably never will have. Not because I don't want it, because it's very expensive. It's an EC book. Now, I know how some of you watching these videos feel about EC. Like, oh, God, EC. Those are not those are not investment books. It's not going to appear on WandaVision or Loki. Still, it's worth paying attention to. Here it is. Tales of Terror #1. That is EC, those horror magazines from the 50s. That's their version of an annual. Okay? Tales of Terror #1. Now, for some of you out there, and for those of you in the EC collecting community, know that is probably one of the rarest EC books to get. It really is. It's just, you just don't see it. And I do think it is legitimately rare. So, as you saw in the photo, in a heritage auction, 2.5 sold for over 10K. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that book, I think a few years ago, it was expensive. Even in 2.5 low grades, it was expensive. But I think it was going for maybe, for those of you who are EC collectors, maybe you could correct me in the comments. I think it was going for maybe $6,000. $7,000. So, a $4,000 jump in what, a year and a half. I think that's pretty substantial, I would say, right? I would agree. But yeah, for those of us that like to collect EC, I like to collect certain EC books. I like to collect Walter Horror, Haunt of Fear, and Tales from the Crypt. And I venture out a little bit into shock and crime, and I might go into a little bit of the weird fantasy stuff, but I'm not looking to finish those runs. And I was never interested in the 3D books or the annuals. There are 2 other annuals for EC, Tales of Terror 2 and 3, and they're expensive, but they're nowhere near as expensive as Tales of Terror #1. I mean, that one is just insanely expensive and quite rare. Now, for the last one of this video, books that it's no news on this one right now. I don't have the variant version of this book, but I have this version. Ultimate Fallout 4, the first appearance of Miles Morales. I know there are a lot of people going around trying to say that previews, or whatever the hell number that was, that previews book was his first appearance. I don't know. I'm not getting into that argument. I don't know. I could not care less. But what I do notice and what I do care about is that Ultimate Fallout is going for a decent amount of money in high grade. Now, this one's going for a decent amount of money, but the variant version, which I'm going to show right now, I don't know if that's some sort of record or whatever, but that version, as you can see, went for what, 14K? 9.8 on Heritage? That's a substantial amount of money. I remember a few years ago, I mean, that book was always more expensive than that one. But I think a few years ago, you could get that for maybe a couple $100, now 14 and 9.8, I think, right? Correct me if I'm wrong for those of you that collected those variants, but I don't think it was anywhere near 14,000. So for those of you that have multiple copies of that, we're really on that train. Congratulations. But like I said, all these prices reflect right now, the beginning of March. And well, a lot of those are from end of February and all that stuff, 2021. So these prices might change. Who knows if they're going to go down or maintain or stay up. It's just, I find it very interesting to talk about. So that's it. But there is one other thing that I want to talk about when it comes to maybe speculation. Now, this may be a complete dud, but the way things are going, this might be one of those long-term books, but just the way things are going, the way West Coast Avengers is fetching big money, and Amazing Spider-Man 238. I mean, I know the Hobgoblin was always a very popular character, but I don't think he was ever getting that much money. It wasn't like that book at one time was that much, and then it went down, and now it's going back up again. It was always a couple $100 book in high grade. But anyway, aside from all that, a book that I would keep my eyes peeled for, because you just never know, is this one right here. Submariner number 50. Now, I don't know if I showed this in a comic book haul yet, but I'm showing it now for the first time, I think, in this video. This is the first appearance of Namorita. Huh. Well, with the way things are going, I imagine that the Submariner is going to show up, probably going to have a substantial amount of time in the Marvel Universe, whether it's a movie or a TV series dedicated to him. And I would imagine, again, that Namorita is probably going to show up, or Namora. That might be the better one. That's the Golden Age one. But you just never know. You just never know. If you could find that book cheap, like under $50, I'd get it. In a nice grade. Why not? Hold on to it for a couple of years. Just the way things have been going, it's just crazy. So, what are the books you think are fetching crazy money? There's a lot that are fetching crazy money. I'm probably going to make another video after this because there's just so much out there. But there are things that are going underneath my radar too. And I don't necessarily have my finger on the pulse of the market because I'm just not that type of collector. But I have Instagram and I see what's going on, and I have Facebook and I see what's going on. People posting these sales, and I'm like, wow, this is really, it'd be interesting to put some commentary to it. So leave in the comments some of your commentary on what some books you think are gonna blow up, or other books that have blown up that I haven't been talking about. Take care, everybody. Be safe.